Bienvenidos, NAHREP familia. My name is Gerardo Jerry Asensio, and I am your host to the ESN Network. With me today, week after week, is my co-host, Carmen Palumbo.
Thank you, Jerry. Hola, NAHREP family. Yo soy Carmen Palumbo. I am your co-host to the ESN Network, the official talk show of the National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Professionals, a donde el negocio y cultura se conectan, where Latino culture and business opportunity intersect.
And on today's episode, we'll be continuing discussing the alternative disposition situation. We have stats to discuss, and you know what? 2013 is right around the corner, and our members need to have as much information so that they can position their businesses accordingly.
Yeah, and let's get right back to work with this then. Let's get started. All right, Jerry, if you don't mind, I want to start off this morning by congratulating our very own Gary Acosta for being appointed on the CFPB's advisory board.
That's absolutely correct. Actually, Gary was one of the only 25 people that were selected for this very elite advisory board from among about 5,000 potential candidates.
No way. Nice, Gary. That is amazing. And for our viewers, the CFPB is headed by Richard Cordray. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau is the federal agency that holds primary responsibility for regulating consumer protection with regards to financial products and services in America.
And what's more is the CFPB is actually going to have incredible influence as to what the mortgage market and the mortgage products will look like into the future. So Gary, un abrazo fuerte. Felicidades, campeón. ESN Boardroom, welcome once again to this multi-part series as we talk about alternative disposition. I'm here with John Macias and Gary Acosta, and we want to just go to the nucleus of the question. The million-dollar question is, where's the inventory and how is that impacting inventory nationwide?
Well, as we said before, alternative disposition is probably the biggest factor in terms of the lack of inventory in the marketplace today. It used to be a very small segment of the marketplace. Now in areas like Phoenix, Las Vegas, and so forth, it's more than half the market. So when you take big chunks of properties off the market and sell it through a very narrow channel just to institutional investors, obviously there's less inventory in the marketplace, and that's what the brokers are feeling out there.
But institutional investors are usually willing to pay only pennies on the dollar. I mean, aren't they cannibalizing their own portfolios by selling for less on where they may have other performing notes in the same area?
Well, I think that investors are willing to pay more than they have in the past, but I think you're right. Fundamentally, when a property is sold for less than market value, it affects values in that overall neighborhood, right? And if you're a lender, especially a big lender, and you sell a property for less than market value, it impacts the health of your portfolio in the entire local community. And I think that's something that's not being recognized enough. But it's
now, are some of the lenders out there missing some opportunity here? Because most lenders, the importance is for them to cultivate a relationship with the local realtor.
I think that's a really good point. If you're a lender that has an REO property to be sold, instead of looking at that just as one transaction, you know, like we look at it in the real estate community, we should try to figure out how to leverage that one transaction. I think banks should do the same thing. If they have an opportunity to develop a relationship with a real estate agent or broker that can be a lifelong partner of theirs, why wouldn't they do that? That has to have some value as well.
And then, so what is the future with alternative disposition? I mean, is it going to be long-term? Is it here to stay? Tell us, what's your opinion about this?
Well, I think notwithstanding some regulatory changes, which is always possible. I mean, there's a lot of people looking at this space, and they may actually change the rules a little bit to make it tougher to sell through alternative disposition. But if that doesn't happen, it will continue. But it will continue only to a certain price point. Once investors start to recognize, you know what, there's just not enough profit in these properties anymore because we have to pay too much for them.
Not enough discount for them.
Not enough discount for them and so forth, then they'll back out of the market. And at that point, the individual home buyer and the real estate agent and broker will be king once again. So our agents need to prepare for that.
There you go, straight talk on alternative disposition. You've heard it here in the boardroom at ESN. What a heavy-duty boardroom, Carmen, that was. But now, amigos, it's time for El Tip de la Despedida. Now, previously, as you remember, I recommended to get connected with the big three for proactive short sales. And this week, I want to ask you a question. Do you know the top 10 realtors, practitioners in your area that are having success without REO? You know what? You need to know who they are. You need to look for them in the local MLS. You need to get to know them. You need to know them as a fellow colleagues, and you need to develop a relationship with them. them. Because trust me, it'll make a huge difference when you submit an offer on one of their listings. And as that relationship progresses, they may be able to share best practices for you that you can use in your own market and in your own business. And that way you have to establish yourself as the local market expert.
Absolutely, and I want to remind our viewers to forward our episode to your database, and also if you haven't done so yet, please register on the link below. Yo soy Carmen Palumbo, and I leave you with this week's Canción de la Semana. Now this is actually a request for J.R. Martinez from the conference. This is Los Cumbia Kings, Azúcar.
Go Texas!
El ritmo que traigo es azúcar, azúcar para ti. El ritmo que traigo es azúcar, azúcar para ti.